So, to better understand mental health, we begin today's show by talking about therapy with Lori Gottlieb. Lori is a Los Angeles-based psychotherapist. She's a journalist. She's an author of the book, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. And our conversation was about what happens when a therapist experiences her own personal crisis and seeks help. Do you think everybody should be in therapy?
People, since the book came out, everybody asked me that, and they do, and I think it's interesting. I'm not, I think everybody can benefit from therapy. I don't think everybody needs to be in therapy, but I do think this. I think that so many times people come to therapy later than they should. Meaning that, we think about our physical well-being different from our emotional well-being. So if somebody feels like something is wrong with their body, like you're having chest pain, you'll probably go to the cardiologist before you have a massive heart attack. But if somebody feels like, oh, something doesn't feel right emotionally, we tend to ignore it or minimize. And what happens is they think that they can just make the feelings go away or not pay attention to them. But when you don't pay attention to feelings, they become stronger. And they come out, in a behavior, in a irritability, or in a short-temperedness, or in a, self-defeating, self-sabotaging way of being in the world, whatever it is, or in an inability to sleep, whatever. And so people then don't come to therapy until they're having some kind of crisis. And it's like they're having an emotional heart attack. The biggest downside, I think, for people, even though there are logistical problems that are very real, is that a lot of people kind of unconsciously know that if they go to therapy, they might need to make changes. Therapy,
who wants that?
Like, I might need to do something different in my life. I might need to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to be uncomfortable. So I'd rather just keep things the way they are.
Right.
Status quo. Change anything.
Yeah.
Well, you're wasting your time if you're not going to change anything. So I think in therapy, you have to be both vulnerable and accountable. So you have to be vulnerable, but you also have to be accountable for what are you going to do with the work that we're doing? How are you going to make some tangible changes in your behavior when you leave here?
The change part is so hard.
I don't realize that. They think, oh, it's positive change, so it should be easy because people want something better to happen. There was something that my therapist said to me that I write about in the book where he said, where I was like just feeling trapped by all of these sort of external circumstances, and I wasn't willing to make changes. I wasn't willing to look at what I could do differently. And he said, you remind me of this cartoon, and it's of this prisoner shaking the bars, desperately trying to get out. But on the right and the left, the bars are open. And it was like, at first I thought, oh, that's really cheesy. But then I thought, wait a minute, he's right. Because so many of us would rather be the prisoner shaking the bars saying, I can't do anything about this. We don't want to look that it's open on the right or the left. Because then if we walk out and we go into the sunlight and there are no bars and we're free, with freedom comes responsibility. And now we have to take responsibility for our lives. We can't say, oh, the problem is, that I'm trapped here.
Right.
Now it's like anything that happens is I'm responsible for that. And so change is hard for that reason. It's easier to feel trapped in the whatever childhood drama,
right,
that you're reenacting than to actually do something different where you might have to be responsible for your choices.